Yeah, we are on air now.
We are on air.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to I Can't with a G. I am not with Langston today. This is my very, very, very good friend, hermano para siempre, Andrea Cavaliere.
Yeah.
Um, Andrea, how are you?
Well, fine. Just then,
Just hanging.
Yeah.
So Andrea and I met in Chile in 2023 now.
Yeah.
three
Good old
years
days.
ago already, which is crazy. Um,
Yeah.
but we met in Chile. He was there as studying abroad, like they say in the U.S., or on Erasmus, like they say in Europe.
Yeah.
Was with another one of our good friends, Matteo, another Italian guy. They sat next to me in a like introduction for all the students of a university. Heard them speaking Italian. I was like, "Ciao, ragazzi, guys, I speak Italian too." And then we became friends, and it all the craziness went from there. Um, but yeah, that's how we know each other.
That was
Um,
craziest meeting. Crazy in getting to know somebody like
I
that.
know. Yeah, you never know how or when you're gonna meet some of the closest friends of your life. So yeah, kind of
Yeah.
touching on what we were talking about yesterday, just saying hi, but or last time. But Andrea, what are you doing? Where first of all, where are you in the world?
Right now, I'm in Padova, Italy, small town near Venice.
Hmm.
Actually, hosts one of the most important universities in Italy for international relations and diplomacy studies, which I'm enrolled in. Enrolled in a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy, with particular focus on regional situations, regional studies, and particular mention on Latin America and the Middle East. So,
Mm.
spacing around,
Very poignant for the times we're living in. Today is
Well,
March 11th. The war in Iran has been going on for like 11, 12 days, I think now.
days or something. No, I believe less, but feels like a month right now.
Yeah, I know. It feels like we've aged a year.
Yeah, we
Um,
can catch a break, basically.
yeah.
Introduce
So
myself around. People say, "Oh yeah, the most relaxed job in the world." I'm like, yes, yeah.
yeah, totally. Um, so yeah, let's just jump right in. How has it been your studies like working in this masters? What are you or studying for this masters? Do you have a job? What are you doing for work? How are
So
you?
right now,
How's
right
your
now,
day-to-day life?
yeah. So my day-to-day life. Currently, I'm working in the Erasmus office, the aforementioned Erasmus. So I'm aiding, assisting, doing all the bureaucracy things and basically legal assistance and all for Erasmus incoming students and now more generally exchange students. So I've been talking with people coming from America, both North and South, China, Japan, Africa, and think everywhere in the world. And also as a librarian, I'm working as a librarian. You will imagine knowing me, I think. And as an international relations student, we're writing reports like, I don't know, as if it was grocery lists. Basically. Yeah, I was sitting on the sofa the other day, just, relaxing at the end of the day. And at some point, my phone starts blasting with notifications and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? Like some parent got ill or something. Now it was about the war in Iran. I was, here we go again.
Yeah.
And we had to get down to study writing down stuff, and because we know that it's gonna be useful like tomorrow or the next day. In fact, 3 days after I was talking with a teacher uh, that that teaches state as courses on Middle East history and Middle Eastern history, and we were basically talking about uh, some reports to present to the Italian government
Mm,
and stuff like that, because university right now are just that, producing documents, like
yeah.
nothing.
Well, let's jump into the war in Iran then,
Eh,
since hopefully not jump in, and hopefully this
no.
war ends quickly. Hopefully everything happens and is done soon. But I'll just talk a little bit about my perspective on as a healthcare worker, and especially in the United States, right? Because the United States, we're not gonna talk about conspiracy theories, just the facts. Trump bombed. Trump and the U.S. government bombed Tehran. They killed the supreme leader of Iran. Also, in the process, they killed a bunch of the people who they wanted to take power after he was killed. which is okay. That
Yeah.
happened. Then recently, a few days ago, the old supreme leader's son was placed in power, or elected into office, and then he basically says that Iran's not going to surrender easily. There will be no total surrender like Donald Trump is suggesting there will be. Um, the first week of the war, $6 billion were spent in ammunitions, moving people, moving equipment, all of that, just on the US's side to this war in Iran. With that amount of money restructured, redistributed to the healthcare system, Medicare for all of the U.S. citizens that were taken off Medicare before, that could have been paid for and some. The same thing happened months ago when $3 more billion were put into ICE. All that money could have been put into Medicare. What is really surprising for me, and like I can't understand, is the same people that voted for Donald Trump are the same people that were booted off of Medicare because of his great beautiful bill that took taxes away from the rich and basically took away a bunch of the public healthcare, public food stamps that the masses need. Um, so yeah, in this time of extreme extremes, having a war on one hand when you could have helped your own people, and when it's seemingly the war is all about showing your political power, showing your military strength, and controlling the world's supply of oil, is crazy. So that's how I see the war from here, very far away from it. Andrea, what do you feel? What do you see from the people around
Uh,
you in Italy, which is much closer to the situation
uh,
than here?
I got some takes that go from one side to of the ocean to the other, basically, to also to the other side of the sea. So first of all, here in Italy, I don't know. So it's not a thing that I don't know. Is that it's impossible to understand what our government, our politicians, basically all our leaders are up to, what's on their mind. Imagine that our Minister of Defense, like the one in charge of all the armed forces, was caught in Dubai, not caught, but caught off guard in Dubai during a family trip, like took some days off and stayed without telling anyone in the government. So basically, Italy didn't know where its Minister of Defense was when a war broke out. So we're like, guys, what you doing?
Yeah.
And many Italians that so we had some, I don't know, immigration phenomenon, I would say, towards Dubai and towards the United Emirates. So many Italians are living, especially in Dubai. And when Iran started retaliating and throwing bombs, there people just were, guys, well, we have to go away, get out of here. And the embassy, consulate, everything was just off,
Mm,
disappeared. Nobody could reach any help from Italy except in like 4 days or something. When they organized a state flight from Abu Dhabi, not
mm,
even from Dubai. So we don't know. We are just hanging on, just sailing on our route, just hoping that a war doesn't break out like a global war. That NATO Article 5, doesn't get activated. That would um, make us go into war. But we are actually applying Article 6, I believe, which is military aid in any ways to Turkey, towards which an Iranian missile was launched. It wasn't intercepted because before it could reach Turkish soil, but and plus other two missiles that were launched towards Cyprus. So yeah, now we are sending just ships and military divisions to Cyprus, and we're there like saying to Turkey, yeah, we got you, no worries. Turkey, that I will remember, we are not in good relations right now. Europe is not in good relations with Turkey, and Turkey
mm.
would care less about Europe. But yeah, we are in good relations apparently in the NATO frame, you know. And our government is basically not saying anything. Our prime minister literally said we don't have the material to take a position So we're just choosing the traditional Italian neutrality. But
No.
lots of people are super afraid of that some third world war might happen right now.
Yeah.
Right now, the press is just talking about third Gulf War, and the last two didn't end up well for anyone, not
Nope.
even for the US. Regarding the US, I have a hot take that's not so hot for
Go ahead.
some people that's into it. So we are talking. So the talk is that the US got no money, basically. They
Yeah.
are in great in the greatest deficit they ever experienced, and Donald Trump had to pick that. Basically, has to work with that. Combine that with the fact that I'm gonna throw some strong opinions here.
Mm.
That's my personal opinion. So I don't plan on going to the US anytime soon. So I think that Trump is bonkers, basically. Is crazy. It's not that he's crazy, like out of his mind, out of rationality or something.
Mm.
He adopts that kind of politics. He has to deal with that problem. So he's basically cutting all expenses that he can afford. For example, asking all European countries to spend 5% of their GDP in NATO, for example.
Mm.
Yeah, they're Trump actually, and it was a matter of dispute with Spain once again, because Spain didn't want to spend 5% of its production in NATO, which is a 70 years old alliance that literally exhausted its own function at the end of the
Mm.
Cold War. So let's get back to the topic. Going back to the topic, the US got no money, and they're basically moving the land for that. They're moving mountains for that. They're making war with countries we never thought about. Venezuela, for example, who could imagine a military action like 5 years ago, or when we just knew each other, back in 2000, in
Yeah.
2023. But who could imagine that? So we just on that. We see a superpower that's basically it's back on the wall, doing whatever animal will do, basically. Any
Lashing out.
apes lashing out, yeah, just throwing fists out.
Throwing fits. Yeah.
Also,
No,
also,
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I completely agree. Um, Basically, a lot of in the U.S. I consume a lot of U.S. media, and a lot of what I'm hearing and reading is that the U.S. is the the U.S. military, the military complex, the U.S. as a whole is spread so thin. We have been providing so much munitions to Ukraine, to Israel, that the
yeah,
U.S. military doesn't have enough enough weapons to continue this for a sustained period of time. And on top of that, the munitions that the U.S. uses are very sophisticated, very high tech, very expensive,
but yeah,
while the Iranian missiles are drones, which are $500 at some point. So there's that. There's the disparity between the amount of money and amount of resources going into this on the U.S. side and the Iranian side. But in
yeah,
general, like with everything that has been going on, like the war in or the invasion to Venezuela and taking over their government, basically, it's very easy to lose hope, to
mhm,
just be like, oh, there's nothing I can do. Like it's bigger than me. And yeah, one of the things that recently, the past week, I have noticed specifically is the world's reliance on oil is so fragile. Like the fact that the Strait of Hormuz, I'll put a map here, boom, the Strait of Hormuz is
yeah.
being basically um, puppy guarded by the Iranians, and they're not letting any boats pass through without being blown up. I think they just attacked 3 boats today, is what I saw.
They
Um,
mines basically the street.
and they were deploying mines.
Yeah,
Um, that has decreased the amount of like oil that is moving throughout the entire world, increasing oil prices. Gas prices are going up insane amounts in some parts. I was
here
talking to
in
my
Italy,
family in
here in
Chile.
Italy,
Huh?
here in Italy, gas prices and petrol prices went up preemptively. Just when India started bombing, not the Hormuz state wasn't even closed, prices started to go up. So,
Yeah.
what
The
about here?
gas prices here have gone up at least $1 in New York, probably in other places more. In Chile, I was talking to my family there. The gas prices are up like 1,000 pesos, which is equivalent to like $1.50 here.
Yeah.
Um, so it's very hard, very easy to lose hope, very easy to say the issues are bigger than me. I have no say, I have no power, and I kind of want to push back on that a little bit. Obviously, this is me going into my sustainability spiel, but
Yeah.
obviously, like my individual acts are not going to stop. We're not going to put a huge dent into Amazon, for example, or the US military, or Iranian's military. Whatever an individual can do is very little. However, my point I want to get across is individual action is valuable because individual action can become cooperative community mass action. So I'm just going to go into a little depth of two solutions, not really, but two things that um, I've seen that I think could have the potential of causing a great change. So one, which is just an example, in Japan, I think it was in 2013. I'll double check that stat, but the sport of spogomi was created, which is basically a sport of picking up trash. Crazy concept. You draw out a line of a city center of some area neighborhood, and you say, okay, you guys have this allotted amount of time. Go pick up trash. You bring it back here, you sort it out for another amount of time, and then based on what sort of trash you get different amount of points. Winner wins. And it became so big that in 2025 they had their World Cup. And actually, it was started in 2008, and so far they have accumulatively picked up 193,000 kilograms of trash throughout this entire period, which is not a crazy amount, but it's something. And there's have been 160,000 participants throughout that entire time. So that's an example of community coming together towards some sort of benefit. Um, Now to something that I personally use that I have talked to Andrea like 50 times about. I've given it to
Yeah.
I'm their biggest advocate because I think it's a very easy, simple change that we can all do. But basically, there's this company called Ecosia. Boom, boom, it's right here. Look at it, Ecosia. um, it is an alternative to Google Chrome, to Safari. It's a web browser that uses your search history, uses your searches, and the ad revenue that it makes from said searches, it puts it to an ecological use. So they have a multitude of active projects right now. Um, Basically, with every search, they plant trees. It's the main concept. So they have over 35 countries involved in this project right now. As of right now, they have planted 248 million trees.
How many?
Let that sink in. 248 million, which is a lot of trees. Um, there are 70 active projects, and there are 20 million people currently using Ecosia. The projects go range from the United States, South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. So it's all over the world. Um, One of their biggest projects is in Ethiopia. They have ones in Kenya, Indonesia. I'll link their whole page here. It's very, very in depth. And on top of that, on top of everything, they show you what they spend their money on, which being open and honest about that is very key in this non-honest world right now that we live in. But yeah, so kind of like I use it every day for all my searches. I've personally like planted like what I could, it tells you how many trees you plant. Let me just double check. Yeah, I've planted like 300 just because of using the web browser for like 5 years. So something I didn't. It was a small, slight change that I did. Didn't really harm me in any way, but I've helped out somehow. So if you, and the my point being with this is if every single person in New York, 9 million people, if everyone was like, all right, from today onward, we're only going to use Ecosia, they would produce so much more money for Ecosia that they could produce so much more projects. They could add more resources into their projects, they could do so much more. Not to say that Ecosia is like the be all end all of sustainability, but it's just a small change, small step that individuals like us can make to have some sort of impact. Um, but yeah, those are two things I wanted to mention because I think they can give hope in times of extreme crazy news and everything. I know you have some things to say though, so I'll let you in.
Well, so first of all, what I wanted to say when you were talking about Nicosia is that we're switching from some, I don't know, just use the service like mindlessly for some more, what would you say, more aware use, no? And so I was one of the ones that used to believe that individual action would do anything, basically anything. Until like the other day, like the last few months, more likely, I've seen first of all here in Italy they are banning horse meat, the
Mm,
consumption and production of horse meat. For example, just a small example. We have regions that used to live on that, basically a great business, even in industrial business. And under the pressure of many animalist lobbies, many vegan lobbies, and that now horses have been declared emotional support animals, and so their meat production is getting banned, basically. So, and when I told my girlfriend that, she was like, "Yeah, see that? See individual action.
mm,
If we all start making something, even if it's just for ourselves, it's just gonna be an example for the people around us. We're just setting the example. So when something happens, somebody's gonna think to us or to other people advocating. And I'm discovering that there's a whole sector of advocacy, which is a real thing, actually, a real
mhm,
profession, and it's going strong right now. That's dropping bombs here and there. Imagine that last week or 2 weeks ago or something. Shane, I think we all know the e-commerce website,
mm.
Shane.
Shein, yeah.
Uh, Shen, yeah,
Mhm,
that one. One is right now is under investigation by the European Union for child abuses, irregular chemical substances in their products, and I went into it, and there was a great share of advocacy from basically normal activists, people you would meet in your day-to-day life, your daily life. So on Instagram right now, as a European, we are getting uh, bombed with posts about switching from US-based apps and services to European-based services.
mhm,
One, uh, or more sustainable options. One was Ecosia, obviously, but
mm,
I got a list here. No, not a list, at least three. Quant, Vivaldi, Reverso DeepL for maps, Vivaldi instead of Chrome, Quant instead of Google. Also, we have an alternative to Google Maps, for example, called Here We Go. Sounds like I'm making an advertisement, but it was
yeah.
so cool to, just seeing like how politics influence our life, but also how people get into advocating for alternatives because basically the ones we used till now are not behaving so well. Just
Yeah.
imagine Spotify that was running adverts for ice like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Mhm,
Something Spotify CEO investing in Israeli military and I think Israeli colonization projects. Can't remember. We have to check to link
mhm,
the news. We're gonna link the news, I think. So Apple was into that too. So I mean, we are missing a big European tech or something, or big
mm,
sustainable tech. There was also a phone producer. It was called Fairphone,
mm,
which it still makes these phones completely modular, completely repairable, so that you could just tear down. You have to, I don't know, replace the battery. Buy the battery, replace the battery. You don't have to throw out the phone and buy a new one. And cool feature, I think they put the image of like the outline of Africa inside. So, and they say that it was meant to be seen. So their phone is basically meant to be repaired by the common man, the common
Mm.
people. There was also that I can't remember where they were based in, but it was also a start for a more sustainable economy. Just
Yeah.
like that. And also Europe is moving on that because I don't know if the alternative uh, to get more independence from the American and like the big tech giants, global big tech giants. No, to be independent from that, you have to find resources, new sources of resources, and that.
Yeah.
So right now they are expediting their European Union South America agreement on resources, which will create like the largest market ever and allow to find new sources for lithium energy and all that we are so desperate about to
Mm.
keep our first world status. But they say that it would allow to save some money to for cooperation projects. I don't know where that is going, but hopefully, since they say Europe has so high standards and stuff, I hope they don't mess it up and they actually you know build a good change for once.
Yeah. So you said that your girlfriend and you were talking about how individual change can
Yeah.
create something, and you were saying that you didn't think so. Why is it that you were didn't think that individual change could create some change?
So thing is that the world is getting more and more complex every day. Processes, even globalization. We talk about
Mm.
globalization every day, but like it is nothing. But like I don't think that we really understand it. For
Yeah.
example, so reality, the war, politics, economics, everything is getting more and more complex. So I don't know, creating change in that also gets more and more complex. Like, how
Yeah.
can my action influence? You said it like for a minute. Like, my using Ecosia won't hurt Amazon so much,
Won't hurt Google. No.
Yeah. So my take was take that and just use it as an excuse, I think, to just say, yeah, my action don't matter.
Mm.
So it's like giving up on hope.
Yeah.
But I also think that it was before getting into this masters, it was before studying a lot. So right now, I would have been one of those people being afraid of the Third World War right now. Thing is, it's a great power we have to be able to inform ourselves, to just know stuff, know
Yeah.
what's happening in the world. And starting from that, we might even get make some nice choices, start to use a browser or I don't know, pick one brand instead of the other just because the first one is more sustainable. You have to know that first of
Mm.
all. So I think that the more I got informed on stuff, the more my hope will grow. So that's it, basically. Study people.
Yeah. Yes. Like the saying goes, ignorance is the key to bliss, or ignorance is bliss. Knowledge is power. Like
Yeah, knowledge is
reading
power. Ignorance of
knowledge.
bliss was just a slogan invented by the ones that wanted to control people.
Exactly. And knowledge is the way that we combat that. If I don't know that um Spotify used ice or like promoted ice advertisements, I would keep on using it. Now that I know that information, I can try to find
Sure,
alternative sources
I
to.
have some alternatives. We might just keep advertising.
Yeah.
No, we are not obligated to anyone.
Yeah, we
So,
are not sponsored by anything or anything. This is just stuff that we use.
yeah.
But yeah, so along that lines, like of against corporate and giant conglomerates and everything, um, kind of finding humanity, find like getting back in touch with the things that make us human, like the individual action, creating community, all of that stuff. That's very similar or sounds a lot like what you are doing in Italy with the Erasmus students. Like how do you create community and for people that are from all parts of the world and for all of them to come together to share experiences and share stuff like that?
is you gotta have lots of patience.
Yeah.
Now, but so I never thought of that. How you make a community with the Erasmus, how you get them to share their stories, their point of view on stuff. I think the thing is that everyone has a story to tell.
Mm.
That's something we never should forget. And that for many time, especially as Europeans and then as Westerners, basically, thought that we only us had a story to tell. I'm sorry for getting so politicized this
No,
time.
you are basically trying to be a politician or a diplomat, so it makes
Okay.
sense.
So the thing is that everyone has a story to tell. So the thing that if you want somebody to open up, just ask them about themselves. Like, where do you come from? What do you do for a living? What's your take on whatever, on relationships, on I don't know, on making groceries here in Italy or here in where we are or wherever. Let them talk about themselves. They will ask you about yourself. Ask the other one on the side where they are about themselves.
Mm.
You build on that, and you just can get on I don't know. You can always find a common ground where to just exchange your experiences. Thing is, we call them exchange students for a reason.
Yeah.
It's because it's an exchange. It's a cultural exchange, an exchange of perspectives, of identities.
Right.
So I'm studying my bachelor's cultural mediation. So the thing that the most important thing was that we had to learn was that we enrich ourselves of the identities of others. There's
Mm.
nothing such as an original person, like in itself, like that can grow in isolation. We all make up ourselves of the stories we are told and the stories we tell, basically. So
Yeah.
starting
That
from that,
reminds me. That reminds me of a quote of like, "You are the amalgamation of the five closest people to you, like your
yeah, but
closest
and
friends and family."
yeah, as an Erasmus advisor, I would say, thing is that's true not only for the five closest people, but for who you meet daily, who you talk to,
Mm.
what you do. So basically, how do you build a community? You just find some people, go for a drink or for a tea, or we have a botanical garden here in Padua. Just find the excuse to gather some people and you start talking. Just share your experience. Give some love, and you're gonna receive some love back. Keep hope. Keep the hope that some people are gonna be willing to share
Mm.
the experiences. Always keep that hope. And things just build on themselves by itself. I see people just hustling, just yeah, we have to do events, parties, and stuff. Get people to know each other. We have to make icebreakers, games,
Mm.
and stuff. I like guys, just tell them what you ate for breakfast or something, and they're just gonna share what they ate for breakfast, and you're gonna be good. So, I mean, to get back to Iran and stuff, I was at a dancing party. Imagine how funny can be the conversations with me. And
Yeah.
there were these Iranian guys, and I was like, "Hey guys, how do you feel nowadays? Like nowadays that so many stuff is happening." And they were like, "Oh, okay, I feel like I'm relieved, I am happy, I'm hopeful. Also, I'm afraid that something's gonna happen and stuff. I got my family here, I got my family there." And you just start asking questions, and and before you notice, they have just told you their lives, basically
Yeah.
for apply that to a group of people. They're gonna just talk with each other.
Hmm.
Thing
No,
is that
I think that's beautiful. I mean, I've heard this a lot from a lot of mentors of mine and people that I know, but everyone is very happy to speak about themselves. That's the easiest thing you can ask someone to do. Like,
as bad as it can
tell me
sound,
your story. Tell me everything about you, and then they'll just talk and talk and talk, unless they're extremely shy. But then you can just do it. What did you eat for breakfast today? What do you
yeah,
like to eat for breakfast? Like, ask questions like that. So I don't know. I think that those are the very, very good suggestions and things that you brought up. Um, yeah. Um, we could really talk about everything that is going on
yeah.
in Iran,
Well, whatever.
Venezuela, Ecuador. The U.S. just bombed Ecuador, or bombed. They
Oh,
bombed not like government property or anything like that, but they did the same
Yeah.
similar thing that they started to do, which was, you
Uh,
remember how they were
moving
bombing
ships and so on.
ships in Venezuela?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so they basically started to do the same thing in Ecuador, saying that, oh, it's the drugs, the narco terrorism. So back to the original topic of how the world's oil system and reliance on natural gas is so fragile. So many places in the world are having to put like stays on the time that you can use electricity because of the generators. Cuba is basically destroyed right now because they have no energy. They have because of the
Yeah.
US blockade of oil. So finding alternatives is something that I think this podcast is
So
all about. Finding
going back
common ground to hopefully negotiate better deals, like Donald Trump says.
to leave
But
on a high note, going back
mm,
to hope, I would say, guys, don't leave hope. We are moving to more sustain. We are really moving to more sustainable alternatives. And
mm-hmm.
now Spain is relying on more on wind and sun energy than ever before. Like on the majority of their
Yeah,
energy is from
there there
wind and sun.
mhm. There are
I've read,
multiple countries, two more countries in Latin America, Costa Rica and Uruguay, have 98% of their um,
yeah,
energy for the entire
also
country is from renewable sources. Which I will talk. I will bring
crazy.
them up in a later episode focused on South America's
Just
very
gonna
very
throw,
green push. But
just gonna throw the craziest fact, and then I swear I'm done. Like I've read today that China is has actually planted like 60 million trees, desertificating a desert basically.
yes,
While they're relying on lots of coal, they also lead they're also leading in clean energy production. So we
mm.
are moving on in an ambivalent situation right now. But just let's keep hope. If China
Let's
is
keep
doing it,
hope.
we can all do it.
Yeah, let's keep hope. Let's keep pushing forward. Let's keep advocating for greener, more sustainable ways of thinking, more different products, different equipment, different outlooks. If your phone is broken, try to
Absolutely.
fix it instead of replacing it, buying a new one. Stuff like that.
Absolutely.
If if something breaks, fixing it instead of replacing it and throwing it in the garbage. Oh, I know
Go the
for me in New
second-hand
York,
market.
a lot of furniture for me in New York, I built myself from scratch because I didn't have money. But like these for example, these are
Yeah.
shelves that I built myself. It no money, didn't have to use something, like buy something new. It was something I already had, pieces of wood and stuff like that. Andrea, three things before we leave. Um, this is a little tradition that we've started with Langston. What is
Yeah.
a song that you have been listening to this week? I'll start to give you some time to think. Um, a
I
song that
already
I've
got
been listening to. Oh, you already got it. Go for it. Go for it.
it. So mine is the BT Armas photos from Bad Bunny. One would say that it's really mainstream, really superficial, but go look into it. Go look into the deeper meaning. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually you will discover some interesting things.
Benito is a poet. There are a lot of things.
Trust Benito. I wouldn't have said it 5 years ago, but
Mm,
trust Benito's poetry.
yes. Um, a song that I've been listening to is Amique by Jesus Guerra. Great Latin jazz. It's there's no lyrics, but it's just beautiful, beautiful, sensational.
Sensation.
What is something that you have consumed this week? Like a media? Like have you read anything? Are you reading a book? Are you listening to a podcast? Anything that you think you want to give the people?
Hmm. So right now, I'm actually reading lots of books about photography. I would
Mm,
recommend getting into photography, even starting from your smartphone, because it helps you stop, get into the moment, live the moment, the best thing in the world, I believe. Or painting. Just get into the moment, guys.
yeah, makes helps you appreciate.
Yeah.
And something that I want to shout out is I'm single, so eh, so I spend a lot of time thinking about like how to make myself the best version of myself for my future partners, hopefully. But there's a video on YouTube, "The Uncomfortable Question You Should Ask on Every First Date" by Alan de Boton. It's very interesting. Um, I'm not sure if I will be asking that question. But hey, it was interesting. It made me think a lot.
Yeah, the most uncomfortable question. Damn.
No, it was like, in what ways are you crazy? That's what it was. Which is like,
Guys, go to therapy. Yeah. No,
I
seriously,
agree with that statement. Go to therapy. It's very
go
needed.
to therapy. You have to go to be on a solid base. Yeah,
Hmm.
to solid foundations. To take it from one that has not solid foundations. No, I mean we have to all work to, believe in ourselves. Be I think the most uncomfortable question would be, would you would you hang out with yourself?
Ooh, that's a real Andrea. Round of applause. Wow, wow. Yes, that is
Yeah,
a very, very good question. I will use that.
that's a pick up line of us.
Uh huh. And last thing. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in this week, this
And
month?
that's it, going forward. To not be blown up,
Yeah, well, hopefully. But anything
Not
personally
just
going on?
Nah, I would say I have very low standards. Just be the best version, the best I can be. Yeah. For the
Yeah.
others, for me, just be okay with myself in
Mm,
life. That's what I long
right.
for
Yo
all
te
day,
quiero,
every
hermano. So don't worry. You're the very best you are, as you are.
day. Yeah,
The
feel
the thing
loved.
that
To feel loved always by
yeah.
myself, by my friends, by my girlfriend, by my parents. Guys,
Mm,
try to feel loved always by yourself and
to
everybody else.
accept the love. To
Except,
accept the love.
except,
Yeah. Well, the thing that I'm looking forward to, as you guys can tell, I'm an Arsenal fan. I have two Arsenal things in my room, and two things. I know our Champions League game just finished today. We drew 1-1. It is what it is.
yeah,
We'll get them back when they go to London. However, in the Premier League, Arsenal is top. We are first with a 7 point gap, and the team that we hate, Spurs, is down in the bottom. They're like 16th, and they're 1 point above relegation. If Arsenal wins the league, I will go insane. But if Arsenal wins the league and Spurs get relegated in the same season, Andrea, I don't think you understand the joy I will feel. The
damn.
joy I will feel for an entire year to be the champions and have. It's like, because I know Andrea likes Roma. Imagine
Well, yeah,
Roma wins the Serie A and Lazio gets
that's good.
relegated in the same season.
Damn. Yeah, would
Oh,
be. I think Rome would explode.
yeah, yeah. My head is just. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
that's what
let's
I'm
go
looking
Gunners,
forward
I
to.
guess.
Let's go, Gunners. Let's go.
Let's go
Yeah.
Gunners.
Well, Andrea, grazie mille.
It
Thank you
was
so
so
much
nice to be here.
for
Thank you for
coming
inviting me.
on this wonderful little podcast we have. It's called Can't with the G. Don't forget it.
Let's go,
Um
Ken.
yeah, and nothing. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, rest of your day, and we'll be back soon with Langston. Ciao.
Be safe, guys.